Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to check out Dragon's Hoard. It's a card game for 2 to 4 players for ages 8 and up, with the average play time being between 25 and 45 minutes. So the idea of this game is very simple. You and every other player in the game are dragons, and your goal is to collect as much treasure as possible in order to earn the most points, and whoever earns the most points at the end of the game will win. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at the components and see how the game is played. Alright, now as you can see here, there's just a bunch of cards, and that's the only component in this game. Here you've got the whole deck of cards, and this deck consists of 5 different colors. You've got yellow, orange, red, blue, and purple. And these cards have 2 sides. One has the sheep side, which is sort of like the back to the card. That way players can never see what you have in your hand. And the other side will consist of 2 different card types. You've got your action cards here, which allow players to perform special abilities. And then you've got these treasure cards over here, which allow players to earn points throughout the game. You've also got a start card, which is given to the first player. And you've got some reference cards. That way players can keep track of what each of the different action cards do. As far as setting up the game, you simply shuffle the deck of cards and lay 4 out in the center of the table like so, and then each player will receive a hand of 4 cards, and 1 player will be chosen at random to be the starting player. A player's turn is pretty simple. At the very beginning of their turn, they'll go ahead and draw 2 cards from the deck to put into their hand. After that, they can take up to 2 actions or just pass. Now, the 2 actions they can take is to play an action card from their hand, resolve it, and then put it into the discard pile, or whatever the card says to do. And the other action they can take is to play a treasure card from their hand. The players can take these actions in any order, but they cannot play the same action twice. Okay, now I pulled a few samples from the deck so you can get a close-up of what some of these card types look like. This is an example of an action card. Nothing fancy, it just lists the action right along the top here. Same thing with this card here, and this card here. Now these treasure cards work a little differently. You'll notice some numbers and some symbols along the left-hand side. The number in the top left corner will tell you how much the card is worth at the end of the game. This is how many points it'll give you. The symbols, or the sheep symbols that you see here, and the colors, that's the card types that you'll have to discard in order to play it. So in this case, in order to play this ring card in front of you, you'll have to discard 1 red card from your hand and 1 card of any color in order to play it. Same thing with this prince here, it's just a different color, blue. If you want to score this card and put it in front of you, it's worth 8 points. You'll have to discard 4 blue cards from your hand and 1 card of any color. Same thing with this orange treasure card. It's worth 5 points at the end of the game, but in order to play it in front of you, you need to discard 2 orange cards and 2 cards of any color. Same thing with this yellow harp. It's worth 3 points. You have to discard 1 yellow card and 2 cards of any color. Now these layer cards are somewhat special. They won't score you any points immediately, but as you play more treasure cards of that color in front of you, you'll earn extra bonus points. So at the end of the game, if you have 2 red treasure cards in addition to this in front of you, you'll score an additional 3 bonus points. Okay, now there are a few other things that I didn't mention or touch upon, so just keep that in the back of your mind. For example, in a 3 or 4 player game, the rules are slightly different with regard to how many cards you draw, and if you have so many cards in your hand, you get to draw extra cards, stuff like that. But I'm not going to touch on that today. And this will just continue back and forth with players taking turns until so many cards are in front of a player. At that point, everyone takes 1 final turn. That's what this start card is for. And then players will go ahead and tally their score based on what's in front of them, and whoever has the most will win the game. Alright, there you have it. A very brief look at Dragon's Hoard. It's important to stress that I did not cover all of the rules found in the manual. This was just a brief overview to give you a taste as to what you'll be in for should you decide to pick up this game. As far as what I thought, the artwork is fantastic, but the card stock itself is a little too thin for my tastes. The cards, I mean, they don't rip easily, but they are already bending, as you can see here. I wish the cards were a tad thicker. But other than that, the artwork is fantastic. It's a very family-friendly game. If you want to see my full review, you can, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date with any new content I happen to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.